It is 4:40 now. Well, it could be time to pay up even more when it comes to violating Winnipeg's residential parking ban. Courtesy tows happen when cars are moved off the street to allow snow plows to do their work. The tows cost the city almost $1 million last year. Winnipeg City Councillor Janice Luke says the money could be better spent elsewhere and should be eliminated. She has introduced a motion to that effect that will be heard at a city committee on Friday. Councillor Janice Luke joins me now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Marjorie. Good afternoon.
What went through your mind? I mean, $1 million last year spent on courtesy tows. What was your reaction when you heard that's how much was spent on that?
Well, actually, Marjorie, it's going to be more than $1 million because there was a courtesy tow that we did in November for the residential parking ban. And then at the very end of December, you'll recall we had a great big dump of snow. And, again, there's going to be probably another $900,000 or so. So it's probably going to be almost $2 million in 2021 to move illegally parked vehicles. And yeah, you know what? Like we've got a lot of challenges with COVID. We're looking at all our finances. We always do. Those of us, more so on EPC. We're not. Some of us aren't as involved in the finances because we're not privy to briefings. But in my digging, when I found that we were spending this on towing vehicles that weren't moving, I knew we did the courtesy tow, and I just thought, no, I think this has to end because for the past 10 years, the city's introduced the Know Your Zone concept. We've built apps so that people can, bilingual apps, so that they can find out when a residential ban is in place. We've got websites. We do digital boards, newspaper ads, radio ads, social media. So now I think we've got enough information out there that people should know when a residential parking ban is in place. And if they don't move their vehicle, I think it's time they should start paying.
Mm-hmm. So where do you think that money that we're spending on courtesy tows, where would you like to see that money spent instead?
Well, I mean, there's two ways to look at it. It could be a complete savings, right? It could be a complete savings, or it's currently in the snow budget. I'd like it to stay in the snow budget, but I would like it to be redirected towards improving snow and ice removal on active transportation routes. That's part of my motion, part of the recommendation. I don't know where that will go, but that was my recommendation.
People are already getting tickets when they don't move their cars. Why do you think also getting them to pay for the tow will have a greater impact?
Well, first of all, I don't think that people who move their vehicles should have to pay for the tow. And that's what's happening right now. I think people that don't move the vehicles should pay for the tow, and it will create probably a greater catalyst. Instead of a $200 ticket, maybe it's a $300 ticket per park, a $200 ticket for parking and $100 for the tow, or whatever the tow will cost. It's more, I just don't think the general public who moves their vehicles should be paying for violators that don't move their vehicles.
What about people who might live in Winnipeg's more densely populated neighborhoods who might not have somewhere to put their car? Wouldn't they disproportionately be impacted by this compared to someone who has a driveway or even a garage?
Well, the public streets are public. They're not private parking lots. So if people don't have a parking spot, they should seek one out. There's many driveways. There's people they could ask. They can move it to an area where there isn't a residential parking ban. But the public streets are public, and we need them cleared for emergency vehicle use. So it's a matter of finding somewhere else to park and going from there. One of the points I'm going to bring up when we have our meeting on Friday, in Edmonton, what Edmonton does is when they do a residential plow, they allow vehicles to park on the snow route. The snow route is a priority 2 street, and it's plowed first, or, it's one of the first couple that are plowed. So that could be a possibility that people could park on the snow route. But, again, the streets aren't for they're not parking lots, so people should be able to find somewhere to move their vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Some people might say, though, it's not broken. It's not a broken system. Why try and fix it? Why take this up?
Well, what do you mean it's not a broken system? I mean, I think we give an awful lot of information out there for people to move their vehicle, and really what it's about is keeping our safe and open during residential plow. And people should, I think, now be responsible for the vehicle on the street. And if they can't move it and we tow it, then they should pay for the towing.
Mm-hmm. What are you hearing from your constituents?
There's a lot of issues out there that motivate people to call a counselor's office. And I tell you, I've had many, many calls on this, overwhelmingly in support. I've had calls, I've had emails. I have a few people that feel all government does is tax and then charge fees. And, that is a perspective that I'm also listening to, but very few. The majority of people feel that when you're in violation of a parking ban, that you shouldn't receive a free tow. And I really strongly believe that also.
Councillor Lukes, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us today here on the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Marjorie. Thank you very much for covering this important issue.
Janice Lukes is the City Councillor for Waverley West.